So instead of dancing today, me and Carrington decided that we would do something a little different.
And the other day, Jojo and I were talking, just kind of sharing stories, and he was sharing with me something really personal and really relevant and timely that happened in his life. And I just had this spark of a thought: what if we shared that with those folks who we dance with, and who we train, and who we yoga with, just as a way to kind of show that this is happening in real time to people that we know and love, that in addition to the folks that it's happening to out into the world and in the newspapers and the TV shows and all those things, it's happening right here with these people that we love and so dearly and see on a daily basis. So do you want to share, tell them what happened to you?
Yeah, so this actually happened the other day, and I was actually driving along P Street, and just a normal day, and all of a sudden I passed a cop, and I was thinking to myself, wow, he was going pretty fast. He must be going somewhere, trying to get somewhere. And I never thought anything else about it, and I got to the light, and everything was fine, and all of a sudden I took off, and I looked up in my rear view, and there was the cop car, and that was strange to me, but it didn't, it's not a big deal. Maybe it was a different cop car, who knows. All of a sudden his lights come on, and I'm thinking to myself, uh-oh, I hope that's not for me. So I go to pull over, and I pull over to the side of the road, and he gets out, and now I'm like, wow, I don't know what I did. So I'm going through my head, and I kind of have an anxiety now, because I'm like, oh no, is this how it starts? Is this how some of these bad situations escalate? So I'm trying to think of what to do with my hands, and what to do with, should I look at them? Should I not look at them? So I just end up putting my hands on the steering wheel face out towards me, like fingers spread. And I'm sitting there waiting on him to come to the car, and he comes up to the window, and I'm still confused at this point, and he leans into the car, and he says, can I get your license and registration? And I'm thinking, should I say something? Should I not? And I was like, well, officer, I was like, I'm sorry. I just was wondering, why you pulled me over or what I did. I wasn't speeding or anything, I don't think. And he was like, no, you weren't. And he hesitated for a second, and he said, it looked like you didn't have your seatbelt on. And that's when my heart kind of sunk into my stomach, and I was thinking to myself, he thought it looked like I didn't have my seatbelt on. So for all of you guys out there, just to let you know, I always wear my seatbelt. Reason being, I lost one of my good friends back when I was in high school. He died in a car wreck. His name was Demetrius Oman, rest in peace. A lot of my family and friends, if they see this video, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about. And so I never get in a car without buckling my seatbelt. And so now I'm kind of worried, even more so, because he didn't really have a valid reason to pull me over. So I'm like, okay, sir. And I reach and I get my stuff. And as I'm reaching, I'm still nervous. Like, I hope he doesn't think I'm doing something wrong, whatever. So he takes my license and registration. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Just let me know what else I need to do. Da, da, da. He goes back to the car, and he takes forever. So those of you that know me, no one's perfect. I know this. But for the most part, I really try and pride myself on being a good guy, and being an upstanding citizen, and being well thought of in the community. So I was wondering why it took him 20 minutes to go through a record that I don't have, because I think I've gotten 2 tickets in North Carolina, and that was probably 8 years ago. So I was really wondering, what is he looking at? Why has he got me sitting here sweating? Because now I'm getting nervous. So finally he gets out of the car, and he comes up to the side of the window, and now he's holding his hand to his gun, and I'm like, sir, I'm sorry. Once again, I don't want to say anything out of line or out of turn, but why do you have your hand on your hip? Like, I hope I don't pose a threat or anything like that. And he asked me to get out of the car, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable getting out of the car. I was like, first of all, did I do something wrong? And I said, I'm really not trying to argue with you. I just need to know, why would I get out of the car? Did you find something? Is there something wrong with my license? He's like, no. And I'm like, well, if you don't mind, I said, I really don't want to get out of the car. I said, first of all, I know a lot of people around this area, and I just don't want to look like I've done anything wrong if I haven't. And also, I don't want you. I said, if I stand up, it might appear more threatening than it needs to be. Like, I'm not a big guy, but you might think of me as a threatening presence. I said, I think it would be great if I just sat in the car and we just talk the way we're talking. And I could tell he was getting a little irritated towards me, like I was being defiant, but I wasn't trying to be defiant. I was just trying to keep everything simple. And he never really could tell me why he wanted me to get out of the car. He let me stay in the car, thank goodness. And he basically told me just be more careful, da 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 da. And I honestly probably shouldn't have said this, but I said, sir, you just said I didn't do anything wrong. So, I mean, I guess I was being as careful as I could. You just thought I didn't have my seatbelt on. Once again, you could tell he got a little irritated, but that was the gist of the story. And he went back to his car, he drove off. But for me, I couldn't just drive off. I sat there for another 5 to 10 minutes thinking to myself, did he just pull me over because of my color? Like, is that the real reason why he pulled me over? Because there was no other reason except he thought that I didn't have my seatbelt on. Mind you, I said he was going pretty fast going by me, so I don't even know how he could see that in the car, especially since I was wearing a black shirt and my seatbelt is black. But all of a sudden it just struck a nerve and it hurt my heart, like to think that, no, not everyone has my story and not everyone has my background or whatever, but the fact that you should not get pulled over just because. You shouldn't get pulled over just because someone gets to think that something is wrong with you, or they can throw probable cause out of thin air. I don't care what color you are. I just don't feel like that this pullover and this whole situation, this whole thing that I just went through was justified. And that hurts my heart. I feel like when I was a kid, when I was younger, and I lived in Lawrence, Kansas, this happened to me as a kid. 3 different occasions, the same cop. And I thought 23 years later that I wouldn't get pulled over because I fit the description of, or you thought I had this, or I thought that we would have further progressed in this day and age. But 23 years later, I still felt as scared and as vulnerable and as violated as I did when I was 15 years old. Something's not right about that. Something needs to be done about that. And no disrespect to him or anyone. I have very, very, very good friends that are on the police force. I have relatives that are actually on the police force. I just feel like that situation and that how it was handled, I feel like that happens a lot. And I guess what me and Carrington wanted to do is show you that it's happening right here, right now. And not just to people that have criminal records or speeding or doing this. It's happened to people that you know. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this, is because, I mean, if y'all know me, and I'm probably the most upstanding guy, at least I try and be, but I can see that doesn't make you exempt. Like nothing changes how someone can perceive you or perceive a situation.
And so what I heard as I sat across from you was, number one, thank God you were safe. And number two, my heart was in the same place as yours, in the pit of my stomach, that this was happening to anybody in general, and specifically to someone that I hold so dear. But my mind went back to this book that I'm reading right now called The New Jim Crow, and it's talking about how some folks within the law enforcement are finding reasons to pull folks over, to target them for their race, to maybe pull over for a taillight and possibly find drugs, or pull over for a seatbelt and possibly find something that they can pin on you to take away your freedom to vote, your freedom to find your voice or make choices that are right for your family, your freedom to go to work in case that they take your license away and you can't get to work, So there's so many layers here that I think are revealing themselves within this situation that you went through, and ultimately that we're going through as we now understand this story and hear this story that you're telling. So I'm just grateful that, again, I'm grateful that you're safe, but I'm grateful that you're here now telling this story, and I feel privileged that I get to share the story with you. And within that privilege now comes a responsibility of what can I do and what can we do in order to change the game. Because
Right.
talking about it is great and educating is great, but then it's like, what do we do with that?
Yeah, and what I've heard is and what I probably should have done is you can take their name and their number, the number of the officer or whatever, and not just call it in. You can visit your local mayor's office. You can go down and actually be present and really say exactly what happened and how you felt, and so we can be our own voice. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do right now, but in an indirect kind of way, and just kind of give a light, shine a light on this, that we have got to step up. We've got to be heard. We've got to be seen. And we have got to come together. And this is not us against the law. This is not us against a race. This is not anything like that. This is us trying to find equality. And if we don't talk about it, if we think it's taboo, if we don't let people know how we're feeling and what we're feeling, how are we ever going to get there? And so I think this is our first step. But there's so many more steps to go.
So many more. And you and I are both in the wellness world and the well-being community, and no matter what happens, whether it's to one individual or a group, if someone is suffering, in some way we're all suffering. If someone is sick, in essence, we're all sick. And so as much as you're, in the room fighting for folks' well-being and how fit they are physically and mentally and emotionally, and the same for myself, if we don't step outside the box of what's happening on our physical plane, ultimately we'll never be to that state of well-being
Right.
and wholeness, because there'll be a huge chunk missing.
Right.
And I'm grateful that you're a part of this community and doing what you're doing, and I'm grateful that I get to be your friend.
As
And
I
share
am for
this
you.
space.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad we talked about it. I'm glad you sometimes you just got to get things off your chest. And thank you guys for listening to us. And if you want us to kind of do some of the things like this more, I mean, we can definitely do that. Just kind of talk about different topics, things like that. But thank you guys, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.